Now that you've accessed the GeorgiaPrepCountry.com website with your username and password, your next function is going to be to input your team roster, do your qualified swimmers and do their proof of performance times, and eventually toward the end of the season you'll do the state entries for the state meet. Also through this system you can view existing qualified times for all swimmers throughout the state, including just double checking and making sure that your swimmers are in the system by going under the winter sports link and selecting swimming and then state qualifiers. This will take you to the screen that gives you filtering options for gender, male or female, event, you can pick any of the events, classification, and it'll be broken into single A and then, 6A, and then 1 through 5A for the two separate state meets. And then school. You can select all the schools or look at just your particular school. Once you're going to go into the system, you'll go to the control panel in order to input your athletes into the system. So we'll select control panel. If you're unable to view the control panel, it means that your designation as a coach is as an assistant coach. So you'll need to contact Steve Copeland with GeorgiaPrepCountry.com through the help link up here, right here where it says help, and request that your status be changed to head coach, and they'll get that transitioned over so you can access this control panel. Now that you're in the control panel, you'll want to select your school. So I'm going to go ahead and use Tift County as my example. And sport, the default is going to be football. Surprise, surprise. And we're going to select swimming. Team should be varsity and year should be 2014-15. To start out, you'll want to go to the team functions option and select team roster. This will be the first thing you do, and you should do it at the very beginning of the season. This is where you're going to go in and input all the athletes on your team for this current year. So we'll start out down here with name. And note, when I hit the pull-down menu, if you have athletes from a previous year, you can select any of those athletes to make them active for this year. So select that athlete, double check the gender and the grade, and click update, and it brings them as an active athlete in this season. If we want to add another athlete or activate another athlete, we simply click add, and we have the option again under name to select an athlete. Or if we've got new swimmers on the team, we'll go to new player and just type in the first name and last name. Gender and grade. Once we're done with all the details, click update, and there they are. They're in the system now. So again, we'll want to go through and add all the athletes on the team that are going to be on the team this year. Whether they're going to make the state meet or not is irrelevant. We want them to be available in the system, so if they do qualify, we can quickly go in and access them and put them on the team. If you had to make an adjustment to any of these swimmers throughout the season, for example, say Matt Carver was actually Matt Craver, we would click on that athlete over here on the menu, click select, and CHG for change, and go in and make the appropriate changes there. And then once you're done, click name correction and select update, and it will update that athlete's information. The other important roster member you need to add will be your relays. For your relays, you have to add a separate designated quote-unquote athlete in the system. So let's go to add again, go to name, and we'll have to select new player. Every team will have to do this, whether they had existing swimmers in the system or not. All of the relays get reset at the start of the year. In order to add a relay for your roster, you'll want to type as a first name your school name. So in this case, Tift County. And the last name for your relay will be relay, R-E-L-A-Y. You'll have to do one for the males and one for the females, and the grade can be 12. So once we have that info in there, let's click Update. And there they are, Tift County Relay. Go ahead, just in case, we'll add a girls relay as well while we're at it. Notice you do not have to designate 200 free relay, male relay, female relay. All those things are taken care of by simply typing in your school name as the first name and relay as the last name. The gender designation can be done down here in the sex column. You only need to add one male relay and one female relay to the system. You do not need to add multiple relays because you can only technically qualify one relay per relay event. Once you've got all these relays and athletes into the system, you're ready to go back out under the team functions item, and we're ready to start putting in some state qualifiers. So click on Swimming State Qualifiers, and here we go to this screen. Here's our roster of athletes. If we had, say for example, Megan Bowen qualified for the state meet, we click on her name, select, and here are the possible events that she can qualify in. Input the time. Make sure you put the punctuation in there. The date. Well, when was the performance? Please remember that all athletes must be entered with their qualifying times within 1 week of the performance. If you do not meet this deadline, you will have to go through the GHSSCA office in order to get special permission to get that time verified. And again, in some cases, they're not always as forgiving as some other people are. The verifying coach, well, who was the other team's coach? Okay, and say she qualified in the 100 free, well, let's put her time in there. Date, well, when was the meet? And once you're done with all of your qualified times, click Save and Return. And notice the times are now in the system. For an individual event, that's how we do things. For relays, we would select either the male or the female relay. Let's go with the girls first. Select. And notice here are just our relay events. No individual events are listed. If for some reason that you get, when you go to select your relay and you get individual events in this screen, it means that you have that roster entry incorrect, that the last name is not relay, or something's wrong in the way that you'd set it up. You'll want to go back to the roster under Team Functions and Team Roster and make the appropriate corrections if you're not getting this screen when you select a relay event. Again, input the time, punctuation included. The date, and the verifying coach. Save and return. Oh, I cheated. I got a time that's too slow. If you try and input a time that's not formatted correctly or is slower than the qualifying standard, it will not accept it. And we'll give you this really small error message. But again, notice it will not be accepted as a time. Input the correct time, date, and verifying coach. Click Save and Return, and you're ready to go. That's doing all of your proof of performance times and importing them into the system.